Well, good morning. I'm still stuck, and it got very cold last night, down to 27 degrees. I'm sleeping inside a double uh, sleeping bag. This is my Dow for backpacking, 15 degrees, and this is a regular sleeping bag. I don't know what the degree on this is, and it it went. It was very cold, so I turned on my little buddy here at low so it can warm up the camper and get some breakfast or something, get some coffee. And I was thinking of going outside and sitting, and I said, hell no, look out the window. Look at my I don't know if you can tell, my gloves are frozen, my chair is ice. The grass was icier earlier, and if it's 27 right now, went up to 32 with my buddy heater. I don't know. I'm not gonna go out there for what? There's nothing else for me to do. The only thing that I'm gonna try later when it warms up, I'm gonna get one of my pans, my pots, and I'm gonna scoop out the water as much as I can from the trench there where the tires are sitting, because it's not helping that the tire gets wet, and when it gets to the rock, it's slippery. So it doesn't let the tire grab the rock because the tire already comes wet, and that's been the issue all this time. Okay, so I'm just gonna kick back here and hopefully somebody will show up today or tomorrow. All right, later. Well, I had a change of clothing. Temperature went up to 48. I said, okay, that's good. Try it off. Um, I've been here for a few days and haven't seen anything moving around. I've been looking with the binoculars. So yesterday, at my last ditch, in hope to get out of this thing, I even put grass. I cut some of this high grass and I put it under the tires. I put a bundle in there and shoved it in there. And I did the same on the other side, because these are the ones that are better chance of grabbing, the ones in the back. Ones in the front, they're in the mush. So what I'm gonna try today is to bail out the water, toss it out, because it's not hot enough for to evaporate. It's evaporating very, very slow. So it's not gonna be fast enough for me to keep those tires dry. I mean, this one, look at this one here. This one is dunked in there in the water. And it's a lot of water on this side. This is the one I'm going to start bailing out. Got a few gallons in there. So last night I was kind of kicking it around and thinking, okay, do I keep the rig? Do I get a trailer? Problem is, with the trailer you can't tow a Jeep, so you gotta be four-wheeling with the vehicle you're pulling the trailer with, and that could happen again of getting stuck. Uh, I think I'm going to buy the cheapest way. I'm always finding the cheapest way. Not the cheap, the economical. Don't be, I'm frugal. So the best way to go is to uh, change tires, buy all terrains, BF Goodrich. I've had those tires forever in all my vehicles, and they work well. Um, and just keep an eye on stuff like this. I didn't pay attention. I should have just taken that other cut the way I did it on the way in. It didn't occur to me. The thing is that I saw it and I said, it's a little wet, no big deal. And then when I hit that rock, that instead of me stopping and backing up, I gunned it, and I said, okay, if I take up speed, I'll go through the slush. But it didn't occur to me that the truck is getting lower and lower and lower until I got hung up on the chassis. That part just didn't come through my mind. So I'm gonna just build the water, and it's not gonna be completely dry, but I gotta get the water out of there to make it better. And I may even go and get some more rocks and do like a trail. But this is pretty dry right here. This area, it's high. It's not gonna get hung up. I'm just tuck. The word's tuck. You know, if I get a nice tug, I can just go woo and pull it out. And I got the ramp in this tire, not the ramp. I guess they're ramps, yeah. Those plastic ramps, and I got one in the rear. Um, these are the ones that I pull the most back here, but I got the rocks in the right size so I can lift it, ramp it up, lift it. Like in this one here, it's got a rock underneath the tire that is slipping because of the water, and then I got that wedge rock in there that is not grabbing. So if I had the different type of tires, the mudders or the well, not the mudders. The mudders, they bounce too much. And they were saying at the advertisement that they were self-cleaning, and I said, how can a tire be self-cleaning? Well, that's why they're self-cleaning, because they are bouncy. They're flexing all the time, and all the mud just dries up and falls off. So they do clean themselves up. But you're getting a bouncy ride, and I rode like that all the way to Wyoming on my Blazer. And I said, man, what can I do with these shocks? And I was blaming the shocks. It wasn't the shocks, it's the tires. And I had it at 36 pounds, make it comfortable. I think max is 40, 45 or something. I don't remember. It was a while back, but um, those are not exactly road tires. They're more mud tires. So you do get that bouncy all the way out there. These are road tires. They're excellent road tires. And on the way in, it started getting a little bouncy on me, and I said, okay. I pulled over and lowered the air down to 50. That made a big difference. The ride was a lot more comfortable. The shocks were doing their job. I was even thinking I got the wrong shocks. So on this one, is this going to be an expedition vehicle, like I keep calling it? I have to put the right type of tire on the truck so they can grab the rocks the way they're supposed to and take you out. Handle the dirt, handle the mud. So the BF Goodrich all-terrain, I haven't bought those in a long time. I don't even know what they go for anymore. But they used to be a lot cheaper, that's for sure, compared to what's going on now. So I'm going to change tires, and I'm going to sell those. I don't have room to keep them. I wish I could, because I can swap them. And if we're doing a road trip, let's say we're going to go to Arizona or Texas or whatever, or Nevada, whatever, it's going to be a lot of road instead of trails. I will put them back on, and they're excellent road tires, but not to go off road. Definitely not. So it's the tire, the problem. It because there's mud and water, that shouldn't be a big deal. It's the tire. And I made a point. I got a little notebook in there that I'm making notes on, and I made a note on raising the truck. I want to get a lift kit, maybe, I don't know, 2, maybe 3. I don't want to go 4. I have 4 in the Blazer, and that's pretty high. I want to go 2, 2.5. Let's see what we can get there. So yeah, as soon as I hear some trucks, because they're gonna come in from the west side, and they're gonna camp on that big mountain over there, I'm gonna have to walk over there and ask for help. That's a good 3 miles. And they're going to see me coming in like, exhausted. So yeah, as far as the deer, if this was Wyoming or even Utah, there would have been deer grazing on these pastures like cattle. I loved seeing that. I would drive through Utah, and I would see deer in this. Even Colorado, I saw a lot of ranches, and they have big muleys just grazing out there like nothing. I don't know why California. I know they got mountain lions. Don't they have mountain lions in Colorado? I think they do, and in Utah. But I don't know if they're protected. Over here, they're protected, so there's less deer. And according to the stats, a mountain lion kills a deer per week. Let's say even a deer every 2 weeks. Let's be, let's not exaggerate. A deer can, an animal, a mountain lion can eat a deer and stretch it out probably for 2 weeks, and then he go kills another one. So, one mountain lion would kill about 25 deer a year instead of 52. So, how many mountain lions are there? I've never seen one here. I heard there was one up here a while back. Oh, and bears too. Bears eat deer, definitely do. And they don't care if it's a buck, a doe, or a fawn. And if it's in season or not, they're gonna go after it. Well, I've been getting a lot of rest. I'm glad I brought my cramp pills because I know I was gonna be cramping like crazy, like I did the day before. And took a NyQuil, no, a Tylenol night, I think they call it for sleeping. And I took one of those too because I was really beat up from all the doing and back and forth and grabbing rocks over there and bringing them and bringing them and exhausted. I'm not used to doing this kind of work anymore. I'm used to working with my brain now and on my back. Oh, and speaking of which, I bent to get a rock in position, and my lower back just went boom, and it gave me a warning. He said, "Enough, don't overdo it." So I say, "Ooh," because I know myself. If my back goes out, I'm out for the count. That's it. So I'm gonna sit here on my coffee and think of beautiful things. All right, guys. Okay, so I decided to take a walk on the top of this little ridge here and look over where the camps are, and I don't see a vehicle. I'm even out of sight. I'm around the corner. So let me put this on. Get my walking stick. Yeah, if I see a vehicle, I can take 3 shots in the air, and I got my binoculars, and if they start looking this way, I'll start waving my coat or my hat or something until they decide that there's somebody waving and they can come over. It's early. Tomorrow they're gonna start showing up. I had a feeling that there are not a lot of retired guys coming hunting, only a few. I know 3 of them, and they usually camp, let me see, they camp that little island there, right in front of the big mountain. So at night also I can come over and take a look and see if there's any campfires, and then I can take a walk over there and let them know that not to do it now at night. I like to do it in the morning so they can come over and hook me up and give me a tug, and I can pull out. So the other zone, the D8 zone, there's so much forest, so much trees, that you don't get these openings like this. And this is what I like about this area. You can look up at the big meadow on top there, take a glass, take another meadow there, and see, because the big bucks are not going to be down here. You know that. that little buck I saw coming in, he's just learning, and it's a shame that somebody's gonna shoot him because he's got the two on each side. He's a 4-pointer, but he's a young 4-pointer. I mean, I wouldn't want to shoot an animal just because he's legal. Let him grow, let him breed some females, and when he gets to be a more mature, he'll have probably six points, and then go ahead and take him. But some of these guys, no, not some, all of them, they don't think that way. They see one that's legal, boom, and sometimes even if it's a doe, they'll shoot it if they think they're going to get away with it, which they have. So I'm a different type of hunter. I believe I have ethics, and I control myself or restrict myself. That's the word. I think of the future of the deer herd. If you shoot all the young bucks, the does are going to be alone and nobody to mate with, nobody to grow the herd. So that's what you got to think about. The responsibility of taking a buck, it includes a lot of points. If you just take them and get the meat, which the little deer didn't have that much meat on them anyways. It must have been 100 to 110 pounds, where they grow here up to 180 to 200. I see them. There was a guy that caught one on that mountain over there, and he between him and another guy, they couldn't pick him up and put him in the back of the truck. That's how heavy the buck was. Already with the guts out, he was already gutted, and couldn't handle him. He had 6 pointers, but they were massive. That's a buck. That's the buck that you want. That's the buck that you know he already did his job and impregnated a bunch of does. He did his job. But you kill a little one, they're just beginning, innocent, because I stopped the truck maybe at 60 feet and he was just looking at me like oh look, there's a vehicle, what is that, you know? And then he just kept grazing. You know, any of these guys will come out, the rifle out the window and shoot it. Guarantee you they do that. And that pisses me off. So in that trail that goes around the corner, in that mountain, that's where I'm supposed to park and then go in to the wilderness. That's the end of it right there, the end of the road. Look at the shine in front of the truck, all that water just sitting there. It doesn't go nowhere. I don't think it's gonna be a big difference if I bail the water out, because it's not the water holding me down, it's the axle stuck in the mud. So I don't think I'm gonna bother with the water. I'm just gonna let somebody give me a good tug, and with me and gear, you know, gun it, take it out. So another beautiful day in the neighborhood. Right, I think I'm videoing against the sun. Yeah, so I'm gonna turn around and say goodbye. This is my last battery. I gotta start charging. I gotta start charging the other batteries, and the house battery keeps beeping, so it needs to be charged also. It got weak. I started watching a movie. In the middle of the movie, it just died. Boom. So I gotta wait until it goes up to 14, and then I can turn it and see the rest of the movie. That's it. And you know, organize a little bit. That's what I'm spending my time doing, and glassing a little bit, but there's nothing here. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Well, the motto that says never give up, never surrender, I'm kind of like that. It applies, but the thing is that when you don't have the right tools, there's only so much you can do. So I said this morning, you know what, let me try something different. So what I did is I said, okay, I'm gonna lift it from the center. The center is sitting, the center cage is sitting right on the dirt. The ground has a lot of grass roots. I try to open up a hole with the little shovel. I wish I had my Vietnam shovel. The Vietnam shovel has a little pick that you can bring out, and then you can really cut a hole. I looked for it before leaving. I couldn't find it. I think I left it on the Blazer. I never looked there. I looked everywhere else except the Blazer. But anyways, I said, okay, I want to try it again with the jack. So I put another rock in there, because there's already 3 rocks sunken in the mud. Put another big rock. I started jacking it up. And I managed to put another big rock under the tire, a big one. And I said, okay, let me see if it's off the ground, if the other one grabs, and then I can push it, you know. So I turned it on. I put my walking stick on the accelerator, ran around the front, put my back into it, and started pushing and pushing, and there was no swing. It was just, you know, the tires are trying to do that, but they grab, but they're not doing it. So while it was turning, I said, the hell with it. I unscrewed the jack. This tire dropped on the rock, and it locked, right? Like it grabbed. I said, okay, good. Put the jack on the side, ran to the front again, and rammed it, you know, give it gas. And you can hear the tires, but they don't have any teeth. These tires are crappy for this stuff. Crappy. I'm buying new tires. I already decided, because these tires have no fucking, excuse my French, but they have no threads to speak of to grab anything. I even jammed this thing inside, and it wouldn't grab. It's spinning and spinning and spinning. I have a rock under this one too. Wait, the sun. I have a rock under that one too, and it doesn't. The rock is soft. It's rounded. It doesn't have any jagged edges for the tires to grab. So this is my last try. There's nothing else I could do. You know, I thought I came up with a different setup, and the idea was, if I can get the jack in the center, jack it up as far as I can, and then turn the engine, let the front tires, the 2 tires in the back are up in the air a little bit, the front tires are on the ground, push it, and it'll fall off the jack onto the rock, the dry rocks, and it'll grab and start rolling back, and then I can run around the door, get inside, and keep driving, you know. That was another idea, but it just, there's no way for me to get under there. Not with the right tools. So I already made a list on my little notebook there. All the stuff that I, you know, need to get. I also have a come-along. I'm thinking maybe if I put a steel stake out here, hook the cable to the hitch, and with the tires rolling, crank it in until just 6 inches, and it'll grab those dry rocks and it'll start rolling up, you know. It's just, it needs a little tug, and I wish I had that come-along, because at one point I wanted to load it up and I never did. There was no room in my carry-on space here. All right, man, I'll let you go. Later. Well, guys, I got good news. I got pulled out by 3 hunters that came by in a Ford, and we put on the strap, and I just told them, give me a little jerk, and that'll do it, because I already have a ramp up the rocks. So I'm out of the hole. I'm collecting my gear now, my ramps and everything. Let me show you the spot that this is the rear. No, this is where the rear tire was, where those rocks are, and this is the front one, and I have that ramp there, that mud ramp or sand ramp, and that's the hole where the front tire was. And look at the hole on this one. They're pretty deep, and look at the rock I put in there so I can ramp it up. I put it on 4 low and reverse, and boom, little jerk, and he started climbing up and over. So it did it, finally did it. So
Now I hear that there's going to be a snowstorm on Saturday. They don't know how many inches, but now I'm losing confidence on these tires. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out with those rocks being all wet. So I'm going to go to the shady area and camp and think about this, and then prepare myself a good meal, because I've been so upset I haven't even eaten nothing much. So let me put the gear away and start moving. All right, guys. Thank you. Later.